One of the most pivotal officials in this momentous push is Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg. The New York Times recently reporting the secretary's phone is blowing up as lawmakers cite a road or a bridge or an airport in districts in dire need of repair. Mr. Secretary, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on. Good to be with you again.
Absolutely. Let's take a listen to the president today.
I'm not going to embarrass anyone, but I have here a list of how back in their districts they're bragging about the rescue plan. If you're going to try to take credit for what you've done, don't get in the way of what we still need to do.
What's the point that he and you are making here as you make this push?
Well, you know the saying, good policy makes good politics. This doesn't have to be a partisan moment because the rescue plan was such good policy that members on both sides of the aisle, even those who voted against it, have been talking about the positive impacts that it's had. I think that the president is speaking to the urgency of this moment. We met the urgency of confronting COVID with the rescue plan. Now we're going to meet the urgency of preparing the American economy to succeed for the next many decades with the American Jobs Plan, a generational investment in the infrastructure we count on, from the traditional stuff like roads and bridges to newer things like the internet, access for everybody to the internet, and making sure that we have the right kind of care economy. So as we continue this back and forth, and I'll say it's been very above board, very positive, even though we've clearly started out in different places, I believe that the conversation needs to continue to focus on what really is blowing up my phone, which is people around the country talking about their immediate infrastructure needs.
Mm-hmm. That all makes sense. You say you're still in different places. Let's look at what Mitch McConnell is saying.
No, we're going to keep talking, and I understand the president's willing to keep talking, and we think actually the president's a good deal more reasonable than some of the people surrounding him, so we're open to spending some more.
What does that mean to you, spending more? And if he's talking about people around the president on the key issues of infrastructure and transportation, he may or may not be talking about people like you, sir. I give you a chance to respond to all of the above.
I don't know about the latter. I'd have to ask him sometime. But, I think what he's pointing to on the former is that, their latest proposal gets to the neighborhood of $1 trillion. That's a good sign. There's a lot of, obviously, a lot depends on the details. And there's still some daylight between where we've come in and what the Republicans came forward with this morning. But what it shows me is the idea that we need to make a major, major investment on the order of $1 trillion plus 1.7 is what we're calling for in our latest plan. That's a general principle we can agree on. Now, we are concerned. There are a lot of things we think weren't in the counteroffer that really need to be there. There are a lot of steps we need to take on, everything from climate to modernizing veterans hospitals that we strongly believe ought to be part of the package we put together. But this is the season of sausage making, and it's going to continue to be this back and forth with lots of conversations with lots of members of Congress. And what I'll say is that, unlike some of the moments we've had in our political life recently, that this conversation has, in my experience, continued to be focused. It's been transparent. Sometimes there are big differences, but it's been a very honest conversation, too.
Really interesting. And, I remember a little bit of my Ecclesiastes, maybe not as much as you, sir, but the season or a time for sausage making is more fit for Washington, and interesting to think about what you might get out of these Republicans. I know it's a very big day, and you made time for us here during the push. Secretary Pete Buttigieg, good to see you as always. Thank you, sir.